The classroom door slammed shut just as the last child was picked up, and little Amara stood alone under the fading afternoon light, clutching her tiny backpack as if it were the only thing keeping her steady. Her eyes scanned the empty hallway again and again, hope flickering like a fragile flame. Every passing minute stretched heavier than the last. 47 minutes had already passed, and still, no one came. If you believe in kindness and second chances, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel Echoes the Stores. Stories like this remind us what it truly means to show up, even when life makes it hard. Outside, the sun hung low but bright, casting long golden beams across the schoolyard. The noise of laughter and chatter that once filled the air had faded into a distant echo. Teachers had gone, gates were half closed, and the world seemed to be moving on without her. But Amara didn't cry. Not yet. She just waited. Because she believed he would come. Her father, Rayan Malik, had never been late before. Rayan wasn't just a single father, he was everything Amara had left. Since her mother's passing 3 years ago, he had poured every ounce of himself into raising her. Mornings began before sunrise, juggling breakfast, packing lunches, and preparing for his long shifts at the auto repair shop. Evenings were for homework, simple dinners, and bedtime stories told with tired eyes but a full heart. He wasn't perfect, but he never failed her. Until today. That afternoon had started like any other. Rayan had promised her, just like always, "I'll be there before the bell rings." And Amara had smiled, trusting him with the unwavering faith only a child can have. But life, unpredictable and often cruel, had other plans. At exactly 2:57 p.m., just as Rayan was closing up early to pick her up, a frantic customer had rushed in, an old man with a broken-down car and desperation written all over his face. He needed to reach the hospital. His wife was there, fighting for her life. Rayan hesitated for only a second before deciding to help. Because that's who he was. Someone who couldn't walk away from someone else's pain. Minutes turned into a race against time. Tools clanged, sweat dripped, and his hands moved faster than ever before. He kept glancing at the clock, his heart pounding louder with every passing second. He knew he was running late. He knew Amara was waiting. By the time he finished, it was already too late. Rayan sped through the streets, his mind drowning in guilt. Traffic lights felt longer, roads felt endless, and every second screamed at him. He imagined Amara standing alone, her small face searching for him, her trust slowly cracking. The thought made his chest tighten painfully. Back at the school, the security guard had started closing the main gate. "Anyone left?" he called out. "One child," a teacher replied softly. "She said her father is coming." The guard sighed, glancing at the clock. "It's been almost an hour." Amara sat quietly on the bench near the entrance, her legs swinging gently, her eyes fixed on the road beyond the gate. She had counted the minutes. She had watched every passing car. But she didn't leave. Because leaving would mean giving up, and she wasn't ready to do that. Finally, in the distance, a familiar figure appeared, running toward the gate, breathless and desperate. Rayan. He didn't slow down. He didn't stop. He rushed through the half-closed gate, his eyes scanning wildly until they landed on her. And there she was. Still waiting. For a moment, time seemed to freeze. The weight of those 47 minutes hung heavily between them. Rayan's chest rose and fell as he struggled to catch his breath, his face etched with regret and fear. Amara stood up slowly, her small hands gripping the straps of her backpack. There was a pause, a fragile, uncertain moment where everything could have broken. But instead of anger or tears, she smiled. A small, gentle smile that carried more understanding than anyone her age should have. Rayan dropped to his knees, pulling her into a tight embrace, his arms wrapping around her as if he never wanted to let go again. His shoulders shook slightly, the guilt finally spilling over. He didn't need to explain. He didn't need to justify. Because somehow, she already knew. Children like Amara don't measure love in minutes or mistakes. They measure it in presence, in effort, in the quiet ways someone keeps choosing them over and over again. That evening, as they walked home together under the warm glow of the setting sun, something had changed. Not broken, but deepened. Their bond, already strong, had grown even stronger through that moment of imperfection. Because love isn't about always being on time. It's about always coming back. As the days passed, Rayan became even more mindful, balancing kindness to others with responsibility to the one person who needed him most. And Amara, in her quiet strength, continued to teach him something no manual or guide ever could, that forgiveness isn't earned through perfection, but through love. Now, if this story touched your heart even a little, take a moment to like, comment, and share it with someone who believes in second chances. Your support helps keep stories like this alive. And before we end, here's a special request. Comment below, I believe in showing up, no matter what. Because sometimes, the most powerful thing we can do isn't being perfect, it's simply being there, even after we're late.